Welcome to all of you. So, as you know, in our previous lecture, we were discussing about papillosquamous disorders. So, let's proceed our discussion. Previously, we were discussing about papillosquamous disorders. In these papillosquamous disorders, we have discussed the one disorder that is the psoriasis, and in this discussion, we will move on to the next one that is the lichen planus. This is the topic of discussion in the papillosquamous disorders. We will discuss about the lichen planus. So here is the lichen planus. So we have already discussed when we started the papillosquamous disorders. So all the papillosquamous disorders are the T cell mediated autoimmune disorders. So it is also T cell mediated. What is the lichen planus? It is the T cell mediated autoimmune disorder. T cell mediated autoimmune disorders. So that will result to the chronic skin inflammation, leads to chronic skin inflammation. Clear? So that is the T cell mediated autoimmune disorders leading to the results in the chronic skin inflammation, chronic inflammation of the skin. So most commonly in the lichen planus, chronic skin inflammation, but most commonly it is involved all the sites of the body. So lichen planus involves all parts of body. But it is the T cell mediated. So lichen planus is the T cell mediated autoimmune. Keep in mind, it is the autoimmune disorder that will result in the chronic skin inflammation. But in the lichen planus, clinically, when you look the clinical presentation of the lichen planus, so lichen planus involves all parts of the body, all the skin parts of the body. Mostly, it is involving the skin, it involves the mucosa, it involves the hair, and it involves the nail. This mucosa can be a oral mucosa and genital mucosa. Okay, Peter, don't worry. So in this discussion, we will continue our previous discussion. Previously, we were discussing about the papillosquamous disorders. So in the papillosquamous disorders, it means papules of the squamous cell or papules of the skin. So we have completed our psoriasis, and next one we are going to discuss. The next is the lichen planus. So the psoriasis or the lichen planus are the autoimmune disorders. These are autoimmune disorders, but these are T cell mediated autoimmune disorders that will result into chronic skin inflammation. So these are the T cell mediated autoimmune disorders result into the chronic skin inflammation. So for the new joiners, papillosquamous disorders, we have completed our psoriasis. In this discussion, we will move on to the lichen planus. So what is the lichen planus? It is the T cell mediated autoimmune disorders that will result into chronic inflammation of skin or chronic skin inflammation. But keep in mind, this lichen planus, that is the autoimmune disorders that clinically involves all the parts of the body. When you will look the clinical presentation of lichen planus, clinically it involves all the parts of the body. Most commonly skin is involved, mostly mucosa involved, hair involvement and nail involvement. So when you call it mucosal involvement, there are the oral mucosa is dominantly involved from the genital mucosa. So oral mucosa is predominantly involved than genital mucosa. So it means clinically papules can be present on skin, oral mucosa, genital mucosa, hair and nail. So let's move on. What are the clinical presentation involving the skin? So clinical features of the lichen planus. So skin involvement and what are the clinical presentation of lichen planus. So clinical findings of the lichen planus on skin. What are the clinical finding of lichen planus on skin? So here are the 5P. So these lichen planus can be present on the skin as a plain. There will be a plain purple polygonal pruritic papules on skin. So the 5P means when you look the clinical findings of the lichen planus on the skin, you will feel there are the plain mean flat. There will be flat purple mean violaceous. Purple are the violaceous, violet in color, purple in color, polygonal, different gones are different shape like this one, polygonal, pruritic, very itchy, and papules on the skin because these are the papulosquamous. So these are the plain or flat, purple or violaceous, polygonal, pruritic papules of the skin. So when you will look at this one, you will feel on the skin there will be flat, violaceous, polygonal, pruritic papules of the skin. Okay, so when you look these papules very carefully, you will feel on these papules there will be the Wickham's stripe. Wickham's Wickham's stripe. On these papules, you will observe carefully when you look at these papules, these flat, violaceous, polygonal, pruritic papules, you will observe there are the Wickham's striae. So what are the Wickham's striae? Wickham's striae are the white reticular patterns. So on these papules, there will be white reticular patterns. White reticular patterns, and these white reticular patterns on these papules are known as Wickham's striae. I will show you the image, don't worry. So on the skin, what are the clinical findings of the lichen planus? So lichen planus on the skin will present with the flat, violaceous, polygonal, pruritic papules of the skin. It means 5P. One P for plain, other for purple, other for polygonal, other for pruritic, and last one for papules. So these papules, on these papules, you will feel there are the white reticular patterns. Look at this one. If consider this is the polygonal papules, and what are the color of this papules? Purple. purple color papule. This is the purple color papule, and it is polygonal, different gones. And this is the pruritic, very itchy. And on this papules, you will observe there are the white reticular patterns. So these white reticular patterns on these papules are known as Wickham's striae. Okay, and actually these Wickham's striae are the, what are the causes of this Wickham's striae? Cause of this Wickham's striae is the hypergranulosis. So cause of the Wickham's striae is the hypergranulosis. So that is the wedge shape. I will show you the image. Wedge shaped hypergranulosis. Wedge shape, it means shape of the granulosis will be wedge shape. Hyper mean more and granulosis mean stratum granulosum. So when you will observe, this is the epidermis, here is the dermis, in between them there is a dermoepidermal junction. So here you will feel, and this is the stratum corneum, lower to that one stratum granulosum. So you will observe that stratum granulosum will be wedge shape. Stratum granulosum will be wedge shape and hypergranulosis. So this hypergranulosis are the wedge shape hypergranulosis. They will make the white reticular appearance that is called as Wickham's striae. So I will want to show you the image. Maybe it will be very clear. So share photos. Okay, look at the hair. This one, look at here. Look at this image. This is the lichen planus. Okay, so this, in this image, these are the flat mean plan. Okay, purple, what is the color of these papules? So these are papules, and these papules are purple in color. Okay, sorry, what is the color of these papules? Color of these papules is purplus. So purple in color. So what is the question here? Okay, so what is the color of these papules? These are, so look at here, I want to change the color. So these are purplish in color, these are flat, polygonal, purplish in color. Okay, we call the purplish mean violaceous. So these are plain, purple, polygonal and pruritic, very itchy, and these are the papules. So these papules, what are the site for these papules? These papules are most commonly present on the flexures, and we call them, these are present on the rest. You know, rest, this is the rest. So common site of the involvement for the skin is the flexures, most commonly rest involvement. So this is called the lichen planus papules. So next one. So let's look at the next one. What is the Wickham's striae? Look at here, Wickham's striae. So look at this image. In this image, you can easily observe. So these are the flat, polygonal, pruritic papules on the rest. But on this papules, there are the white scraps. So these are the white reticular areas. So these white reticular areas, okay, white areas, looking like the psoriasis, but in the psoriasis there are the scales, but here there are no scales, only white reticular patterns. So this white reticular patterns on the surface of the papules is known as Wickham's striae. So this Wickham's striae is the important finding of the lichen planus. Clear? Wickham's striae. So these are the Wickham's striae. So Wickham's striae, on these papules there will be white reticular patterns. So these white reticular patterns are the Wickham's striae. So what is the cause of this white reticular patterns? Cause of this white reticular pattern is the wedge shape hypergranulosis. It means when the stratum granulosum will become hyper and shape will become wedge shape. So this wedge shape stratum granulosum is the cause of Wickham's striae. Clear? So this is the clinical finding. Next one is the site involvement. Site. So these papules are present on the flexures, and most commonly these are present on the arrest. So these are present on the liens are present on the flexors, and most develop commonly on the flexors and on the especially these are the rest. So next one is the association. Some diseases are associated for development of these papules. Most commonly these papules are the autoimmune. We have studied these are the autoimmune disorder. But there are some associations that can aggravate these papules. There are some contributing factors. What are the contributing factors? Are the associations. So contributing factors are the genetic predisposition. So these can be genetic predisposition. So this autoimmune disorders, and the contributing factors are the first one is the genetic predispositions. When you check the genetic predispositions, females are most commonly involved than males. It is these are most common in the females rather than males. Second one, they are most commonly present above the age of 40 years. Most commonly involved in the females, and these are most commonly present above the age of 40 years. Second one factor or predisposing factor is the physical and emotional stress. Physical emotional stress. So first one is the genetic predisposition, and when we check the genetic predisposition, these are most common in the females of the elder age rather than male, and most commonly age involvement. It means these are most commonly present above the age of 40 years, and these can be present due to the physical and emotional stress. And also third one factor or predisposing factor is the injury to skin or trauma to the skin. When there is a trauma to the skin, that can cause the lichen planus. I will discuss this trauma or injury, how they can produce the lichen planus to the skin, and what are their different phenomena. So the other one, fourth one is the localized skin diseases. So some skin diseases, especially these skin diseases are the localized skin diseases like the herpes zoster. It can aggravate herpes zoster, and other some systemic disorders are the especially hepatic disorders, hepatitis C and hepatitis B. They can also cause the lichen planus. So these are the contributing factors. So contributing factors most important, these are the genetic predisposition. Females are most predominantly involved rather than male. Females above the age of 40 years are most commonly involved. Physical and emotional stress can cause injury to the skin and the skin diseases like the herpes zoster, and there are some systemic diseases like the hepatitis C, hepatitis B, and there are some drugs. They can also cause the lichen planus, or they can start the lichen planus, especially quinone. group of the diseases, quinine group of the diseases, and the quinidine. Quinidine. They will make the very pruritic type of the lichen planus. Okay, so these drugs, quinine and quinidine, causes the lichenoid rashes. So these causes the lichenoid rashes, and these lichenoid rashes are the plaques on the skin, papules on the skin. We call them the lichen planus, stimulated by the drugs quinine and the quinidine. But keep in mind, here I have discussed there are the injury to the skin can cause the lichen planus. Injury to the skin or trauma to the skin can cause the lichen planus. So here is the when there is a trauma to the skin, keep in mind, and cause the injury. This trauma or injury can cause the lichen planus. We call it Koebner phenomena. Koebner's phenomena. So this Koebner phenomena is different types. Someone call it the isomorphic phenomena. Isomorphic phenomena. Or Koebner, some call it Koebner phenomena. Some will call it Koebner phenomena. So what is the Koebner or Koebner phenomena? It is different type. What is the true Koebner phenomena? What is the pseudo Koebner phenomena or false Koebner phenomena? So next one is the reverse Koebner phenomena. Reverse Koebner phenomena, and last one is the remote reverse Koebner phenomena. Remote and reverse Koebner phenomena. But keep in mind, what is this Koebner phenomena? First, I want to tell you what is the true Koebner phenomena. So here at your body, this is the trauma or injury. This is the trauma on skin or injury on the skin. Maybe there is a surgical injury, surgical incision on the skin. So when this disease, autoimmune disease develop, this disease will first develop on this trauma or the traumatic side. So when this disease will start, if you already has the trauma, and when this disease is going to develop or the start, first this disease will develop on the site of the trauma. So disease is going to start going to on the traumatic side. So this is known as true Koebner phenomena. What is that? True Koebner phenomena. So this true Koebner phenomena is seen in different diseases. True Koebner phenomena can be present in the psoriasis. True Koebner phenomena is shown by the lichen planus. It can be shown by the vitiligo. So these diseases show the true Koebner phenomena. It means when there is a trauma to your skin or injury to your skin, or there is some surgical injury on your skin, this disease will start. So first disease will develop on that traumatic side. It means the papules will be present on that traumatic side. So these papules are same like the papules of the other side. Maybe here is a trauma and this is other normal skin. This is the traumatic skin. Here is the normal skin. Okay, so when you have a papules or plaque here, so these plaque will also develop on this traumatic side, and this will be same like the disease, papules of the disease. So such a disease is known as isomorphic. Iso means same in the morphology. So this papules on the normal skin will be same as the papules of the traumatic skin. So this is known as isomorphic phenomena or the Koebner phenomena. So this is the true Koebner phenomena. So true Koebner phenomena is shown by the psoriasis, lichen planus, and the vitiligo. Next one is the pseudo Koebner. Not a true. Here is the false. False Koebner phenomena or the pseudo Koebner phenomena. Okay, so what is that pseudo Koebner phenomena? So there are the specific diseases. Which one diseases? Viral wart. Viral warts, they have the pseudocabener and the molluscum contagiosum. Molluscum contagiosum. They have the pseudocabener phenomena. So viral wart and molluscum contagiosum are the infectious. These are not autoimmune. These are the infectious diseases. So what will happen? Your body. So these viral warts, it means this virus of the virus wall. Okay, viral wart and contagiosum molluscum. So this means these pathogens or infections will go on to the traumatic side, and we call it auto infections or self scratching. So they'll go due to the auto inoculation. We'll go to the auto inoculation. What does the auto inoculation mean? Self scratching. Self scratching. Self infection. What does it mean? Self scratching, self infection, or auto inoculation? For your understanding, here is the page number 5. Here is the normal skin. And this normal skin is the wart or the molluscum contagiosum. Okay, and this is the other skin, that is the traumatic skin. Traumatic skin. Okay, so when you will scratch this wart with your nail, scratch with nail, and then you will scratch this traumatic side, then this traumatic side will develop the wart. So that is called as auto inoculation. Auto inoculation means self scratching. It means with the help of your nail, this pathogen will go into your nail and then spread to the traumatic side, and then traumatic side will also develop the viral warts or the molluscum contagiosum warts, like type of disease. So that is due to the auto inoculation. That auto inoculation mean self scratching. Self scratching mean self infection. You are going to infect yourself by yourself. It means you will scratch the wart, you will touch the wart, and then you will touch the scratch area of the traumatic area of the skin. So through your nail, this pathogens will transfer to the traumatic area, and then traumatic area will develop the disease. So this disease will same as this papules, but this is not a true that the pseudo Kibner phenomena, because here pathogens are going to infect, are going to transmit. So which one disease has the pseudo or false Kibner phenomena? Viral warts and the molluscum contagiosum. Next one is the reverse. Third one is the reverse. So I should draw it on the next page. So fifth and sixth one is the reverse Kebner phenomena. So reverse Kebner phenomena. In the reverse Kebner phenomena mean still in it is opposite to the true. What is it in the true? You said in the true, what happens? There are the trauma, and then lesions first will develop on the traumatic side. So it means the lesions will first develop on the traumatic side, or the disease or the papules will first develop on the traumatic side. That is the true. What was the opposite of the true? That is reverse. It means lesions are first present. Lesions are present on the skin. So here is your normal skin. On this normal skin, what are present? Lesions are present on skin. When this lesions or this skin with lesions are traumatized. Now this green color is the trauma. This is the trauma to skin having lesion. It means later on trauma is coming. Then these lesions will disappear. What? Lesions will disappear. Here lesions will disappear after the trauma, but here the lesions will appear on the site of the trauma. It is opposite. So lesions are present and these lesions will appear on the site of the trauma, but here lesions are present on the normal skin, and this normal skin with the lesions are traumatized. Due to the trauma, these lesions will disappear. When the lesions will disappear due to the trauma, that is the reverse pseudocabanar phenomena. Okay, this reverse pseudocabanar phenomena is seen in the disease of the psoriasis. So here is the psoriasis, and also they are present into the granuloma annulare, present into the granuloma annulare. So that have the reverse reverse Kibner phenomena. And last one is the remote and reverse. Remote means at the distant area, and reverse means same as the reverse. So what is the remote and reverse? Remote and reverse. So Kibner phenomena. Remote means distal areas, and reverse we have studied this is the reverse. Okay. So it means there is a spontaneous depigmentation. You know, there are the spontaneous repigmentation after surgery at distal areas of body. So it means spontaneous repigmentation. Here is your skin. Okay, you have done the surgery of the abdominal surgery. Okay, so it means you are going to put the trauma on the abdominal side, but on the distal area, maybe here on the feet, there are this spontaneous repigmentation. It will become pigmented. So that is the remote. It means that is away, far away from the surgical area, and that is remote. But what is that? Reverse. Spontaneously, there is a repigmentation, spontaneous repigmentation after surgery or the trauma at the distal areas of the body. That is the remote. Remote means distal areas of the body. So that is the spontaneous repigmentation after surgery on the distal areas of the body. So this remote and reverse Kibner phenomena can be seen in the vitiligo. It can be seen in the vitiligo. So vitiligo has the remote and reverse. Vitiligo. Now you will tell me. I'm going to give the one conditions or one phenomena. You have to tell me which one this condition. True, pseudo, reverse or false. So here is the, this is your skin, this is your body. Okay, on this body, this is the trauma on your body. Okay, okay, just I give you the image. Don't worry, just 5 minutes. So this is the traumatic side or the site of the surgery on your body. Here you are going to develop the polygonal papules, but later on you feel these polygonal papules are also present on this traumatic side without scratching, without any inoculation, without any infections. That autoimmune disease may be first develop on the trauma side or develop on the normal skin of your body. Maybe first it is going to develop on the normal skin, and later on same such lesions or papules are present on the traumatic side. So what is this kind of the phenomena? Krebner phenomena,
Pseudo.
true, false,
Pseudo. Yeah, false.
pseudo. What is that? No, it is a true.
Zero, sir.
It is a true. Why? Because lesions are same like the original lesions, and then lesions are going to develop on the traumatic side. So where there the trauma, and then lesions are going to develop on the traumatic side. So that is the true. So next one, here are the lesions on your body. This is the white or lesions on your body, and other side of your body, here is the you scratch. At the traumatic side, you scratch with the nail. First you scratch the lesion, and then you scratch the traumatic side, and on the traumatic side still lesions develop. So these are the pseudo, not true, because that is due to the auto inoculation. Auto inoculation means self scratching. Self scratching means you are going to infect yourself on. First here the infection, and then you are going to scratch it, and then you are spreading the infection to the traumatic side. So that is the pseudo. Clear? And third scenario is that here is the which one, normal site, and that normal site of the skin has the lesion. After that trauma occurs at this lesion site, and after the trauma you observe that skin or the lesions will disappear. So lesions are present on the normal skin, trauma will occur, and lesions will disappear. That is the reverse. Clear? And next one is the reverse and remote. Reverse and remote mean repigmentation on the distal part of the body after the surgery. That is the reverse. So here in this psoriasis and the lichen planus, which one Kibner phenomenon? True, false, reverse, remote? So I gave you this scenario. So psoriasis and lichen planus, they have the which kind of the Kibner phenomena? Both have the true Kibner phenomena. True Kibner phenomena mean when the lesions are present, first the lesions will dispose on the traumatic area without any scratching, without any auto inoculation. So that psoriasis, lichen planus, and vitiligo. You have to remember these three things. Vitiligo, that has the true pseudo-Kebener phenomena. So we have discussed this one, how the injury to the skin can cause the spread of the infections. That is the Kebener or Kobener phenomena, whatever spelling is, but you can call it isomorphic phenomena. What is that? Isomorphic phenomena is present. So have a break for the prayer. After the 10 minutes, we will continue our lecture. So stay off, meet. So let's proceed our discussion. So we are discussing the lichen planus, and in the start of the lecture I told you that lichen planus can involve all the parts of the skin. Most commonly, it involves the skin. So we have completed the infections. So what is that? It can involve the skin. So we have completed our skin. On the skin, most commonly involvement of the flexors and wrist. There will be a, okay, I will repeat it, don't worry. So here is the question. So lichen planus, it can involve the all parts of the body, and first one is the skin. When you look at the skin, there is the flexors involvement. On the flexors you can see the wrist. Okay, but question is here, sir, repeat the reverse Kebener phenomena. In the reverse Kebener phenomena, that can be most commonly seen in the psoriasis. So what is the reverse? It means when there are the on your skin, there are the lichen planus or the psoriasis or the papules. So look at here on the skin, this is your normal skin. On the normal skin, these are the papules on the normal skins. So when this papulated normal skin has the trauma, so this is the trauma on the papulated skin. So this papules will automatically disappear. So on the traumatic skin, the papules will disappear. This is the reverse. Okay. So next one, other site of the involvement is the mucosa. So here is the first site of the involvement we have completed. So that first site of the involvement is the skin, and let's move on to the next site of the involvement, that is the mucosa or the mucosal involvement. So next, mucosa. I have already told you in the start of the lecture. So most commonly, oral mucosa is predominant than genital mucosa. It means both mucosa are involved, but oral mucosa is predominantly involved rather than genital mucosa. So what are the clinical findings of the oral mucosa and the genital mucosa? So in the case of the lichen planus on the oral mucosa that is predominantly involved, you will see there is the white. What are the clinical findings? Clinical findings are the white lacy patterns, and other name of these white lacy patterns are the white reticular patterns. They are the white reticular patterns on mucosa or in the oral cavity or in the mouth. But sometimes these white lacy patterns, they become ulcerative. Not all the time, sometimes they become ulcerative. ulcerative become ulcerative, and they erosive, cause erosions, become ulcerative. Sometimes these white reticular patterns of the mucosa become aggravate. It means they become ulcerative and erosive. So when they become ulcerative and erosive, we call it hypertrophic lichen planus. What you call it? Hypertrophic lichen planus. Hypertrophic lichen planus, and that can lead to the squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma. Keep in mind, so mostly on the oral mucosa they are benign. They can be a white lacy patterns. We call them white reticular patterns on the mucosa, on oral mucosa. But sometimes they become ulcerative. It means they become aggravate or the erosive in nature, and we call them the hypertrophic lichen planus, and this hypertrophic lichen planus can cause the squamous cell carcinoma. Clear? So look at this image. So look at this image. It will help you for the oral mucosa. So sorry. So where is that image? Sorry, I'm going to share the image. So here is the oral mucosa. Look at this one. In this image, you can easily observe there are the white lacy or white reticular patterns that are present into the oral cavity. Clear? So look, observe this image. In this image, you can see this is the your tongue. Here is the white. This area of the oral mucosa has the white lacy patterns, and these are the white reticular patterns in the oral cavity or oral mucosa. Okay. So next one. Other one, you can also see there are the white, and sometimes these white lacy patterns they will aggravate and leading to the erosive or the ulcerative. So in this image you can see on your tongue there are the white lacy patterns, but on the side of the tongue these are the thick white erosive bleedy ulcerative. Okay, so these are the erosive, ulcerative, bleedy lichen planus on the oral mucosa. And next one, this is we call it, what you call it, we have call it on the hypertrophic. So look at the hypertrophic lichen planus. In this image it is very clear that these papules are plain, and also what is the color of this one, purple in color, but they are not like the small, they are bigger in size and also making a hypertrophic. So these are the hypertrophic lichen planus and leading to the squamous cell carcinoma. So clear? So this is the bigger in size but flat papules, and that is the erosive ulcerative leading to the squamous cell carcinoma. But most commonly squamous cell carcinoma is not due to this lichen planus, but lichen planus can end into the squamous cell carcinoma. As the proverb, all the animals are not human being, but human being can be included in animals. It means all the squamous cell carcinoma are not due to the lichen planus, but when the hypertrophic lichen planus that can end into the squamous cell carcinoma. So is it clear? So I think images are clear to you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
next one is the genital mucosa. This is the new change in the lecture. Okay, genital mucosa mean, you know, there are two types of the genitals, male and female. So on the male and female, in the female, these are the annular. What is that? Annular lichen planus. It means ring shape. Annular means ring shape lichen planus. Lichen planus is present, and these ring shape lichen planus are papules are present on the labia majora, are the major, and labia minor. And here is the annular lichen planus in the male are present on the penis, and we call them the penile lichen planus, annular penile lichen planus, and these are the annular lesions. What are the lesions? Annular lesions. So annular lesions are present on the labia minora and labia majora, and also penile annular lichen planus. So here we have completed our mucosa, and third site of the involvement, that is the nails. So lichen planus, what are and the nail involvement. So what are the clinical presentations? So when you check on the nail, first clinical finding due to the lichen planus on the nail is the pterygium. Pterygium. What is the pterygium? Pterygium means projection of the proximal fold. Pterygium means projection of proximal nail fold. So you will observe along with the lichen planus when it is involving the nail. So look at here in the image. So here is your nail bed. So this one is the lateral nail fold. Here is your proximal nail fold. Lateral nail fold and the proximal nail fold, and this is the nail bed, whatever. So you will observe that lichen planus is involving the nail, this one area, that is the proximal nail fold. It is going and making the projection inside the nail. So that is the wing shape projection called pterygium. Okay, this is the early changes. So what is that? This is the early changes in the nail. I show you, this is the pterygium. I will show you the image of the pterygium. So what are the late changes on a nail? Later you will feel there is a anonychia, ano and nychia. Nychia mean nail and ano mean no nail. You will feel there will be no nail on the nail bed. Anychia. And also you will feel second, this one is late change first. Second late change, you will feel there the 20 nail dystrophy. 20 nail dystrophy. 20 mean complete nail of the hand and nail of the feet, both are going to dystrophy. And it is termed as trichonychia. 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 Trachyo. Trachonychia. So, what are the nail changes? There are the early nail changes. So, when there are the lichen planus involving the nail, clinically you will feel the early nail changes is the pterygium. It means there is the projection of the proximal nail fold into the nail, and late nail changes in the early first one there could be a anonychia, no nail on the nail bed, and 20 nail dystrophy that is called as trichonychia. Trichyo, T-R-A, so Trachyo, trichonychia. Trichonychia means 20 nail dystrophy. So what is the 20 nail dystrophy mean? So 20 nail will look like sandpaper like. That is the sandpaper like nail appearance, or the rough nail will appear rough. So this 20 nail dystrophy can be seen in the different diseases. 20 nail dystrophy can be seen in the psoriasis. This 20 nail dystrophy can be seen in the lichen planus. This can be seen into the eczema. What is this? Eczema. And also can be seen into the alopecia areata. Alopecia areata. So all these alopecia areata, eczema, lichen planus, psoriasis, they have the 20 nail dystrophy. It means in all these diseases there is a nail involvement and leading to the rough resemblance of the nail. So I want to show you the what is the pterygium and what is the trichonychia. So look at this image. In this image you can easily observe that the nail, okay, so what is your observation? So this one is the proximal, this is the lateral nail fold, and this proximal nail fold is going to making a indulge. This is the nail fold, and after that here is the nail. So nail fold are going to make a wing shaped. Okay, so that is the wing shape projection of the proximal nail fold. This is the wing shape projection of the proximal nail fold. So proximal nail fold is going to project into the nail, and this wing shape projection of the proximal nail fold is known as pterygium. Clear? And other, what are the other signs? Other sign is the Trichonychia. Trichonychia. So look at here. In this image, you can easily observe the nail, total nails are rough. Nails are rough. There is no involvement of the nail fold. Just only nails are rough. And these nails are looking like the sandpaper like appearance. There are some grooves on the nail and whitish color. Okay, so these grooves and the whitish color nails are the looking like the sandpaper like appearance, are the properly rough nail. So these rough nails are the feature of the 20 nail dystrophy. All the 20 nail will become dystrophic, and we call them the 20 nail dystrophy or the trichonychia. Trichonychia means nail dystrophy. And sometimes there is a no nail, we call them the anonychia. What you call them? No nail mean anonychia, nail is not present. So there are the features we have discussed. On the nail there could be a pterygium, that is the early features, and in the late changes there could be anonychia, no nail, and 20 nail dystrophy. This can be seen in the psoriasis, lichen planus, eczema, and the alopecia areata. Last one site of the involvement is the hair. So last site is the hair. Hair involvement. What are the changes or what are the clinical finding when there is a hair involvement? You can call it this hair involved lichen planus. So lichen planus one, it is involving the hair. You can call it lichen planus pilaris. Lichen plano pilaris. What does it mean? Lichen planus involving the hair. So lichen planus, when it involves the hair, we call it lichen planus pilaro. Pilaro mean, so here is the pilaris. Pilaris comes from the pila. Pila mean hair follicles. Okay, pila mean here is the pila. Pilaris comes from pila. What is meant by pila? Pila mean hair follicle. It means lichen planus, when it involves the hair, it involves the hair follicle. So lichen planus, when the clinical presentations are present, then it means lichen planus is involving the hair follicle, and we call it lichen planopilaris. Lichen planus and the hair follicle involvement. So what are the presentation? They are the follicular hyperpigmented lesions. What are the presentations or clinical findings? You will feel there will be a follicular hyperpigmented. Keep in mind, hyperpigmented, not hypopigmented. Hyperpigmented lesions over the scalp. So when you check the scalp, on the scalp, the follicle of the hair follicle, hair will automatically drop. Here is the hair, this is the follicle of the hair, and this is the shaft of the hair will drop. So when you look at the scalp, there are the hyperpigmented lesions. Okay, and these lesions are hyperpigmented lesions, they will heal. After the healing, they will leave a mark or scarring, and we call it cicatricial alopecia. So they will, after the heal, they will leave a scar, and we call it cicatricial alopecia. Alopecia means loss of hair, and the loss of hair with scarring. Cica means tricial. Cicatricial means scarring. Alopecia means loss of hair. So when you look at the scalp, on the scalp there will be loss of hair with the scarring. Scarring, loss of hair on the scalp. That is the cicatricial alopecia. So what is the clinical presentation when there is a hair involvement? When there is hair involvement, we call it lichen planopilaris. It means lichen planus involving the hair follicle. So hair follicle will become hyperpigmented lesions over the scalp, and the shaft of the hair or hair will terminated. So definitely the shaft of the hair or this one follicle of the hair will become hyperpigmented. So follicular hyperpigmented, and lesions will be present on the scalp. So when such lesions will heal, they will leave a scar, and this scarry lesions are known as cicatricial alopecia. And the cicatricial alopecia, when you look at them, they will look like the footprint in snow. What their appearance? Their appearance is the footprint in snow. What is their appearance? Appearance is the footprint in snow. What is the footprint in snow? When you put your feet in the snow, Just only area of the feet will be depressed. Other area of the snow will be very good. So look at the image. Okay. In this image, you can easily observe this is the cicatricial alopecia. This is the alopecia. In this alopecia, only this area, infected area, has the alopecia, and this is the infected areas. These have the alopecia. But when you look with carefully, these have the scarring. So this area has the scar. Healing of the scalp with the scar. So when you look at this area, this is also a the scar, scarry area. Okay, and these are looking like you have put your feet here in the snow, and this area where you have put your hair or feet in the snow, it will make the mark of your feet, but other areas looking like this snow, no markation here. So next one, other image. So in this image, it is very clear. So this is the cicatricial alopecia. So here is the, when you check at the hair follicle, so hair follicles are the hyperpigmented. Look at these hair follicles. These are the red in colors. Okay, so these are very red in colors, hyperpigmented hair follicles. Okay, so these are the hyperpigmented hair follicles. So when these hyperpigmented hair follicles, okay, red in color hair follicles, so when the hair will lost, so they will leave a mark, and that is the alopecia, and this is the scaly alopecia. So that is the cicatricial alopecia on the scalp. Okay, that is the hair involvement. Clear? So next one. So next one is the type. So what are the different types of the lesion on the basis of lesion? So types on basis of lesions, on the shape of lesions. So types of the lichen planus on the basis of the on the lesions. When the shape of the lesions change, so we will change the name. But keep in mind, lesions will be flat, lesions will be purple in color, polygonal in shape. Okay, but look at this one. First one lesion, there could be annular lichen planus. I have told you where such annular lichen planus is present. It is present on the genital
Genitalia.
mucosa. Genitalia, genital mucosa has the annular lichen planus, and other one is the linear. So when the lesions are linear lichen planus, they can be present on the skin, and other one is the hypertrophic. Where this hypertrophic lichen planus is present, when the oral mucosa, the white lacy appearance will become ulcerative and eruptive, that is called as hypertrophic lichen planus, that can lead to the squamous cell carcinoma. Okay, these are the hypertrophic is the very ulcerative and eruptive. Okay, lesions. And fourth one, there could be a actinitic, actinitic, actinic, not anitic, actinic lichen planus. Name is indicating there is a acne. So what is that? Actinitic lichen planus. It means that will occur over the sun exposed area. You know, like the acne type. So it will occur over sun exposed areas. Fifth one, there could be a lichen planus pilaris. Lichen planus pilaris. Sixth one, lichen planus pigmentosus. What is that? Pigmentosus. lichen planus pigmentosus. The lichen planus present on the face, okay, and these are the macular lesions. That is it, present on face, but keep in mind, lichen planus pigmentosus lesions are present on face, but keep in mind these are the macular lesions, and these macular lesions are the drug induced lesions. So when someone can ask you, drug-induced lichen planus has the papules, not here. It has the macules. These are the macular lesions, and these macular lesions are the drug-induced lichen planus. When there is a drug-induced lichen planus, we call them lichen planus pigmentosus. It means your face will become pigmented. I want to show you the image. Lichen planus pigmentosus. When your face will become pigmented. Here you look at this face, so these on this face there is, so these are the lichen planus pigmentosus, and these are the drug induced, and most commonly these can be seen on the face, and these can be seen on the lower trunk. So lichen planus pigmentosus are the drug induced lichen planus, and here are the macules, and these macules can be seen on the face or the lower trunk. You know, which one nevus is present on the lower trunk? Mongolian spot. Okay, so here look like these are also looking like the Mongolian spot that is present on the lower trunk, that's bluish color. Okay, so here are the different types we have studied. So after the types and after the clinical presentation and body area involvement, next one is the diagnosis or the investigation. So you will diagnose it or investigate on the basis of the histopathology. On the basis of histopathology, it means you will do the biopsy of the skin. So when you will do the biopsy of the skin, you will feel different findings. I will show you the image and I will draw the image also. So first finding, you will feel there are the basal cell degeneration. Basal cell degeneration. First thing is the basal cell degeneration. I am drawing it with one by one. So here is the epidermis, here is the dermis, and you know at the junction of the dermis and epidermis, so these are there at the basal cell, are the papilla, okay, ratty ridges. So these are the ratty ridges, and here are the basal cell, basal stratum basale, and these stratum basale, in this basal cell these are the melanocytes. You know, we have studied after every 10 cell or basal cell there will be one melanocyte that will secrete the melanin. So first of all, it is autoimmune disorders, so these basal cells will degenerate. These basal cells will degenerate at the multiple area, and when these basal cells will degenerate, and we call it basal cell degeneration. Okay, when these basal cell degenerations are the, it will lead to the cavity or the colloid bodies. What will colloid bodies will form? Other name of these colloid bodies are the cavity bodies. Cavity bodies, I will show you the an image. So image is the cavity body, CIVETT. Cavity bodies are the colloid bodies will form. And third thing, first one is the basal cell degeneration, cavity bodies, and third one is the, you know, when the basal cells will degenerate, it means the gap will present here. Then these melanocytes will go down from this opening. From this opening, due that opening has formed due to the basal cell degeneration, so they will leave a gap or mark. From this gap, what will come? Melanocytes will come down or infiltrate, and that melanocytes will come into the dermis. It means there is a leaking of the melanin from the epidermis to the dermis. So what is leaking? Leaking of melanin. Keep in mind. So here is the leaking of melanin. Where the melanin will go? Into dermis. You will feel in the dermis will be a melanin presentation. So you know when the melanin will come into the dermis. So here in the dermis melanin will come, and the dermis macrophages are present, and that will engulf the melanin. So this macrophage will engulf the melanin, and we call it melanophage. Melanophages. So these melanophages will be present in dermis. So these are the changes. We are starting from the basal cell. Basal cell will degenerate, so they will leave a mark or gap. From that gap, what will come? Melanin will come, and melanin will engulfed by the macrophage and call them the melanophages. And there are the other changes. What are that? Sawtooth appearance. So now, due to this basal cell degeneration, basal layer, or we call it ratty ridges will appear. Sawtooth appearance appear like the sawtooth appearance. Okay, and next there will be a maximum Joseph spaces. Maximum Joseph spaces. What are the maximum Joseph spaces? It means when the basal cell will degenerate. Look at this is the normal basal cell. When the basal cell will degenerate, it will mark a space here, gap here, space here. So you will feel there are the maximum Joseph spaces. Maximum Joseph spaces. Okay, and next change you will feel there are the band-like lymphocyte, band-like lymphocytic infiltration. Lymphocytic infiltration. I want to show you the image very clear. It will help you to identify. This is the histopathological image. Where is that? Here. So look in this histopathological image. Look in this image. What you can easily see. So look, this one is the upper layer is the stratum granulosum. Oh, sorry, stratum corneum. This is the stratum corneum. Clear? And here the stratum cornea, in this area, stratum cornea has vanished, destroyed. No stratum corneum. Clear? And look at this one. This this is the stratum granulosum, and this stratum granulosum is thickening, becoming wedge shape thickening. This is the stratum granulosum. It is making a wedge shape thickening. This wedge shape thickening is the hypergranulosis. Hypergranulosis of the stratum granulosum will make the Wickham's stripe. What it will make? Wickham's stripe. So this one layer is the ratty ridges. So these are the ratty ridges. So due to the basal cell degeneration, what will present here? Gap will present here. This is the gap or opening. Due to basal cell degeneration, here is the opening. And this opening is the perfect Max Joseph space. From this perfect Max Joseph space, what will come? Melanocyte will come. And melanin is engulfed by the macrophage and making a microphage, melanophages, like a melanophages. And from this gap, what will come out? Lymphocyte will infiltrate, and these lymphocyte that will infiltrate, they are making the band-like infiltration of the lymphocyte. So this all are the lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes are making a band-like infiltration. This is the band-like infiltration of the lymphocytes into the dermis. Okay, and what are the next one is the sweaty body. So look at here, this is the sweaty body and the basum or stratum. Okay, so these are the different changes. Again, I am repeating, maybe it will. Okay, I am going to repeat it again. I'm going to show you the photos. So in this photo, you can easily observe different changes. So what is this change? What is this shape? This shape is the wedge shape. And what are present in this wedge shape? In this wedge shape, stratum granulosum is present. So this is the wedge shaped hypergranulosis. Wedge shaped hypergranulosis that will make the Wickham's striae. Wickham's striae are the white reticular patterns. And what are this one? These are the openings or gap. This is the Joseph's space. From this Joseph's space, what will come down? Melanin will come down. And also lymphocyte will come down. When the lymphocyte will come down, they will accumulate into the dermis and making a band-like infiltrate, melanocyte infiltrate. Okay. And next one, there is also sweaty bodies. We have also discussed in the basal cell there are the sweaty bodies. And last thing to show you there are the what are the tooth saw appearance. So here is the tooth saw appearance. I want to show you the tooth saw appearance in same image. What is the tooth saw appearance? Here you have seen the tooth saw appearance. So you know normally the rete ridges are like this way. These are the rete ridges. These are the normal rete ridges. But in this case, you look at this is the going down and then down again. It is coming up. So we are going to discuss the histopathology of the lichen planus. When you do the skin biopsy, you will feel different kinds of the changes. I have shown you the histopathology of that. Okay. So again, I want to show you for your repetition. So look at this image. You can easily observe there are some changes. So I have already told you that rat ridges are like this one normally up and down, up and down. But when there are the basal cell degeneration, so rat ridges will change, and that rat ridges will appear the tooth saw appearance. Okay, mean like the teeth of the saw. That saw is used to cut the woods. Okay, when you look the teeth saw, it means this is the saw. Okay, here is the saw. It has this tooth, and this tooth. So this is the saw with the teeth saw appearance. So here in this case, you can easily observe this is the one rete ridges, other rete ridges, and this rete ridges has the tooth saw appearance. Clear? So this is the looking like the tooth saw appearance. So here is the rete ridges are not like this way. Rete ridges are like this way, and we call them tooth saw appearance. So rete ridges are looking like the tooth saw appearance, and here is the wedge shape hypergranulosis, and here are the sweaty bodies are the plaid bodies, and other one you can easily observe there are the some maximum Joseph spaces from these Joseph spaces lymphocytes will infiltrate and making a downward in band like infiltration of the lymphocytes. In this band like infiltration you can easily observe there are some melanophages. What are that? Melanophages. So these are the histopathological changes of the. So next one are the when you have done the histopathological changes, and lastly you will go to the treat the disease. So here is the treatment of the lichen planus. So treatment is very simple because it is the autoimmune disorders. So mostly autoimmune disorders are treated by giving the steroids. So here you will use the steroid therapy because it is the autoimmune disease. So autoimmune diseases are treated by the giving the steroids. Okay, so these steroids can be given by three way. So you can use the steroids by giving by the help of topical steroids. You can use steroids. You can use by the systemic steroids. and intralesional, inside the lesions where there are the most lesions. So you can use the intralesional steroids. So you can steroids use the steroids, topical steroids, when there are mild kind of the lichen planus. If the lichen planus is going to become more severe, then you can use the systemic steroids in the condition or the severity, and intralesional steroids when the severity is one place. Okay, and other one you can use the azathioprine or the dapsone can be used. And next one you can use the in the generalized cases, when there is a general and the generalized cases, it means it is present all over the body, then you can go give with the phototherapy. Phototherapy, because we have studied that there is the actinic lichen planus, it means that is exposed area to the skin, so you can give the. Okay, so next one, last one, lichen planus is the, so 15, last one kind of the lichen planus is the oral lichenoid or the amalgam associated oral lichenoid. Amalgam associated oral lichenoid. Other name of this is the lichenoid amalgam or the lichenoid amalgam. So this lichenoid amalgam or the amalgam associated oral, it is oral. Okay, and lichenoid mean lichen planus. So oral lichen planus due to the amalgam, and that amalgam of the mercury Hg hydrogarium. So you know this amalgam or the mercury, where you use the mercury in dental filling. In the dental filling, you use the mercury amalgam. If during the dental filling you are using the mercury amalgam, this mercury amalgam can irritate your oral mucosa, and then in your oral mucosa you will feel there is a ulcerative kind of the wetty patches. Okay, so you will feel the lichen planus that is associated with the amalgam, or especially mercury that is used in the dental filling. So mercury that is used in dental filling or mercury amalgam is used, you know, it is a metal. So that mercury metal or mercury amalgam is used in the dental filling. So this mercury can irritate your oral mucosa and cause the lichen planus, or we call it amalgam associated lichen planus, oral lichen planus. Okay, that is mercury based in your oral cavity. So you know mercury is touching your oral cavity all the time during the dental filling, so that will irritate your oral cavity and makes the lichen planus. And your oral cavity you will observe there is a wet white reticulate patterns on the oral cavity. So what is, how will you treat it? Treatment is the, it is the self resolving condition, but if you remove the mercury from the dental amalgam, so definitely it will be treated. It means remove, it mean it will resolve itself or remove the risk factor. Okay, so first dissolve the risk factor. When you dissolve the risk factor, automatically it will be removed. Clear? So here our lichen planus is completed. So we have completed our papillosquamous disorders or papillosquamous kind of the disorders, psoriasis and pityriasis rosea and lichen planus. So two lectures are remaining for the dermatology mostly, I think. In one lecture we will discuss the most important topic, that is the eczema, acne. You know, most of the time you have the acne problem, so females will come with the acne, and that also can come with the eczema. And other is the sexually transmitted infection of the skin, but that is not too much important on the base of the dermatology. So you can study the STI, sexually transmitted infection, syphilis, and other also in the medicine. topic, so no need to bother it again. So I will just discuss in next class the acne and eczema, and in the last class I will discuss the image based. I will show you the different images and also discuss them. So next last top lecture will be very important. Here we will discuss the image based dermatology. I will show you the image and discuss their clinical points, their morphology, and also treatment and their identification. So last lecture will be the image based dermatology or image based lectures. Okay, so stay blessed. See you soon in next class for the pediatrics.